today, remember, grab your blanket, roll it up in a nice roll, and we'll get ourselves situated. So you'll put that roll long ways, so the same direction that your mat's going. You'll put it onto the mat, and then you'll let yourself lay your body up and over. So you've got just that little bit of extra boost through the upper body. Your head, you can choose. You can either have the head supported, resting on the blanket, or bolster, block, whatever you have, or you can give yourself that extra little oomph by having your head go past the blanket or whatever prop you have. And so your personal choice right there, whatever feels the very best. And so from here, let the breath flow. Huge inhales. Wonderful, relaxing exhales. Our intention for today is working on something that a massage therapist friend that I have, she called it Atlas syndrome. This is when we're carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. And so literally it kind of starts to feel like we've got so much extra weight, so much extra tension, especially like when we hike our ears up to the shoulders to try to resist that weight that's being borne on our shoulders. That's the type of sensation that we're trying to overcome, relax, and ease through our practice today. And so this is this slight lift up with our bolster or blanket or block, the slight elevation through our upper body is giving our shoulders a chance to just roll back and relax. And know that our breath is extremely key to helping ourselves ease through the muscles, easing into the body. And so we're going to take a few more rounds of breath, just like we are right now, helping the shoulders roll up and back. A nice relaxing way to start our practice today. So as long as this is still comfortable for your back to be slightly lifted like this, we'll keep it for a few more minutes while we do a couple of beginning stretches for the shoulders. And so what we're going to do is bring the arms up above your torso, above your body, and then grab onto each of your elbows. Once you've got that grip of each hand onto the opposite elbow, let the arms rise up and back. This is absolutely fine if it helps the abdominal area to arch, bringing just a little bit of that rounding backwards to our spine, rather than the hunched forward shape that we tend to take in our seated position throughout the day, in our computers and at our sofas. So already working to resist and arch back. The breath is flowing for us. And then continuing to keep the breath flowing like this and continuing to hold onto the elbows, let's begin to trace some huge elbow circles. So the elbows are going to go over to the right side. When the elbows are pulled as far over to the right as you can possibly reach, pause there for an extra moment. Pulling over to the right helps the left shoulder to get brought really nicely into a good stretch. And then continue to circle the elbows down by your pelvis, down by the belly. Try to pull downward. Continue the circle over to the left. This brings the right shoulder into the stretch, so just pause for an extra moment. And then continue the circle all the way up overhead. Imagining that somebody's gripping onto both of your forearms and tugging them a little bit higher up. Stretching through just a little bit more through the abdomen, through the chest, the pectoralis muscles. Okay, we're gonna switch the direction of the circles. So this time go over to the left. Tug it there for a moment. Circling the hands downward. Imagine somebody's pulling in that direction. Circling them to the right. And then all the way back up one more time. As you release the elbows, take cactus shape arms off to the left and the right, trying to let the elbows rest downward as far as they'll go. Beautiful. Start to roll off of your bolster or blanket, whatever you have. And you can scoot that off to the side for now. We'll use it again toward the end of class. Once you've got that moved away from your back, return onto your back. We're going to take a moment to be with our body just a little bit more entirely inclusive. So here we're taking the shape of a banana off to each side. So reach the arms up overhead, hold onto the left wrist, and then the shoulders start to scoot off the mat, off that right side. Left ankle crosses over right and legs go over to the right as well. So huge banana shape over to the right. Make sure all of the hips and all of the shoulders, so all four of those points, are still in contact with the ground. We're not rolling over to the side, we're just scooting over to the side. So that way we get that huge stretch through the shoulder, through the side ribs, and including the legs a little bit here. Another good inhale. And then with our exhale, equalize yourself on your mat. Stretch long up overhead. And then take everything over to left. Hold on to right wrist, arms go to left. Right ankle over, legs to left. Huge banana shape arch to the left. Great work. Return equally back onto the mat. Take another moment to stretch the arms and the legs away from one another. Good. As the arms drop back down to release, plant this left foot. Right leg stretches up to the sky, hands behind the back of the leg to help tug it in for a nice stretch. This right ankle goes up onto the left thigh, hands hug around that left side, getting a chance to connect with the hip. And then leaving the legs exactly as they are, open the arms up to a figure T shape, and then legs start to fall over to the left. This gives us a little bit of a twist through the spine, a little bit of the IT band opening. Also make sure right shoulder's grounded, and so you're stretching that right arm off to that side, including the shoulder ever so slightly there. Another good inhale, and then exhale, hips down, plant the right foot, left leg gets its turn to stretch up to the sky. Left ankle comes down onto right thigh. Hug around that right side, giving it the hip opener. And then opening the arms back up, let the legs fall over to the left. Keeping the legs over to the right and left shoulder staying continually grounded off to the left. That's the direction. Okay, as we uncross, come back with the hips evenly on the ground. Let's roll like a ball a few times, coming up toward a seated position. Maybe just once or twice feels good for you. Maybe you want 5 or 6 times. Once you're happy and ready to be up, take a moment through cobbler's pose. The thighs opening out, spine lifting up tall, and relax your body up and over. Spine rises up, maintain this cobbler's pose shape. We plant the right hand off to the right. Make sure you never lean so far over that you're lifting up opposite hip. We're only leaning to the ability of both hips to stay grounded. And from here, take the left fingers behind the left ear. So as we're dropping down toward that right side, with the left fingertips behind the left ear, we begin to trace that left elbow backwards as far as it can go, and then round it down toward the knee. Taking that 5 more times, traveling back and down. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Rising all the way up, plant the left hand going right into the second side. The left hand down, begin to lean to the left, sitting bones never lift. Right fingertips behind the head. And then when you're in this position, we trace the elbow backwards as far as we can reach. And then round it down as if we're trying to touch that knee. And traveling back and down. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Rising up through the center. We're going to do a very similar thing, only this time the legs are open to a wide figure V shape. If you can't maintain height, find that blanket to sit on. That gives you a couple of extra inches so that your hips can be stacked nice and tall. From here, the right hand is planted off to the right. You can choose if it's on the inside or the outside of that right leg. If you're on the inside, make sure that you maintain stacked shoulders the whole time. That makes it a little bit harder. Versus on the outside, it's pretty easy to just lean and stack. So from here, right hand's planted, we start to lean over to that side, not lifting the opposite hip. Left hand behind the head, trace the elbow backwards, and down, again toward the knee. 5, and down. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Rising up, second side. Left hand plants inside or outside of the foot. Do whatever you did on the other side. Leaning over to left. Right fingertips behind the head. And trace the elbow back. And down. 5. 4. 3. 2, 1. Great. Rising all the way up. Swing both legs around. We're coming to sit on our feet. And from here, we're doing a similar stretch where we plant one of our hands off to the side. What we're going to do is sit our glutes off that right side. So the toes are just barely tucked over to the left side. Left hand wraps around that left ankle. You're grabbing onto the ankle very firmly so that now as we lean over to the right side, it's going to tug the shoulder into a really good stretch. So plant the right hand off to the right and begin to gradually scoot that right hand away. The further the right hand walks away from your body, the more you're tugging that left shoulder into a stretch. But notice that if I go too far, I'm just kind of taking my body with me and I'm not doing anything. So that left ankle needs to be a lot of resistance. It needs to constantly push into that left hand to create that really deep stretch. If the head leans slightly away, so head goes down toward the right shoulder, that exaggerates it. You're feeling this stretch all the way across the top of the shoulder, and especially into that connection at the head of the shoulder. So take just a few more breaths, enjoying that extra deep stretch. Beautiful. As you start to rise back up, let the head and the neck just release for a moment, giving it a nice chance to have a return back to a good relaxed position. Even roll through the shoulders, rolling them forward, up, back, and all the way down. And then reverse. Roll back, up, forward, and down. Good. When that feels pretty complete, we'll switch over to the other side. We're sitting just past the toes, glutes to the left side. The feet are off to the right side. This time we take the right hand grabbing onto that right ankle. And from that connection, we keep it solidly there. Right ankle pushing down into the hand to try to stay on the ground. Left hand goes off to the left. And we gradually start to walk the fingers off to that left side as we push the ankle down into the hand. Maybe head tilting slightly to the left, just to enjoy that extra deep tug and stretch through the shoulder. Taking 3 more breaths. Great work. When we start to release back upward, take another chance to roll forward and backward. So shoulders roll all the way as far forward as they can go. We go up, back, and down, and then reverse. Roll back, up, forward, and down. Great job. Okay, coming down onto our hands and our knees, we're taking some cat-cow shapes with our spine. Pay extra attention to the shoulders today, noting if the shoulders have a tendency to come up toward the ears at any point. Try to not let that happen. We're trying to push shoulders away from the ears, creating a long neck. So trying to have that focus the whole time. Exhale, round up through the cat. Inhale, belly down, gaze up through the cow. Continuing to pay attention to shoulders and neck. Continue a few more cycles. Exhales and inhales. Two more breath cycles. Beautiful. Now we're going to do a little bit of a strengthening exercise for the shoulders, starting to get them more warmed up. And the thing I want you to focus on during this again is pushing shoulders away from ears, thinking of the neck growing a whole inch longer. You can't actually make the neck go longer, but just imagine that your focus on shoulders going down is pulling the neck long. So this is dolphin pose, dropping down to the elbows. The elbows are as wide as shoulders. One hand makes a fist in front of you. The other hand wraps around the fist. This makes each of the arms into a nice triangle shape. From there, we tuck the toes. We start to lift the hips up to the sky, and then walk the toes in as much as you have the flexibility for. Head is not touching the ground. Again, focus on pushing shoulders away from ears, lengthening the neck. We're gonna try to hold for a few breaths. If you need to drop down before I do, that's great. Keep on breathing. If you even want to play around for a moment, if you don't have much awareness of what the shoulders are doing, play around for a moment. Try to collapse the shoulders and then try to push into the shoulders and just play around right there, building a little bit of awareness. What's going on in your body? And then how can you find a long neck, shoulders going away from ears? Let's try to say about 5 more breaths. After that 5th breath, drop down, take a moment with child pose. Arms can either stretch forward, or if you need more of a break, they can tuck back. Your personal preference for this one. Start exploring through downward facing dog. Let yourself tuck the toes, plant the hands, lift the hips up high. This first one's just to play around. You can pedal, you can find stillness, whatever's most helpful. Once again, notice the shoulders and how they don't have to be hiked right up by the ears. They can be pressing away from it. A lot of times I'll see students start to arch their head back, creating a little bit of a crank in the neck. So rather than letting that happen, see if the head can just drop heavy. Here, gradually begin to make your way up toward the top of the mat, little steps at a time. Eventually coming to a beautiful forward fold with lots of length through the body. Use the next inhale to help you rise up to stand, maybe arching back as well. And exhale, hands down to the heart. Take a good breath to tune into your body, especially the shoulders. How do those shoulders feel at this moment? Can they drop down with gravity? dropping our shoulders even more, we're going to take our hands into cactus shape so they're wide off to each side. And with any exhale that we take, we touch the forearms together, round the spine back so that you feel that stretch in between shoulder blades. Head can drop down. And with any inhale, the hands get pulled backward past your shoulders, heart forward, head slightly lifted. So take several rounds. Exhale, touch forearms together, round the spine back. Inhale, elbows back, heart forward. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. 2 more. And 1. Good. Engaging the core so we're not spilling the rib cage super far forward. We're engaging it, it's nice and zipped up. So from here, inhale, circle the arms up to the sky. Maybe the whole spine arches back with that zipped up core. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Exhale, fingers go down, just right foot lunges back. Drop down onto that back knee. And then as long as balance is here, hands go up to that left thigh, helping us to rise up. Again, if balance is here, take that same cactus shape arm we just did a moment ago, and we take our inhales and our exhales. 4 more breath cycles. One more inhale, 1 more exhale. Here, clasp the hands together, releasing pointer fingers. Point all the way forward, hips continuing to drop forward, and point those fingers all the way up to the sky, and even backwards if you can. Check in with the shoulders. Are they trying to rise up by the ears, or can you press them away from the ears? Shoulders dropping down. Another good inhale. And then exhale, half split. The front leg goes straight, hands drop down. Feel your shoulders just rounding forward, spilling that weight of the world forward. If we were Atlas, if we were literally trying to carry the weight of the world here, we're giving up, right? Here's the chance to say nope, and it's just gonna roll all the way forward. Good. Coming into a plank position, step this front foot back. Either go straight to down dog or add in a flow, shifting forward, lower chaturanga. Back bend of your choice. And then downward facing dog. Second side, right foot begins to slide forward in between hands, back knee drops down. And if the balance is here, hands go up to the thighs as hips continue to sink forward. Cactus shape 5 times, inhale back. Exhale, round forward. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Clasping the hands together, release pointer fingers. We point forward and beginning to circle all the way up. Are the shoulders by the ears or are they pushing down? If you can travel even further backwards, you're welcome to. Another huge inhale. And exhale, half split. The front leg goes straight, drop down. Beautiful stretch. begin to plant the hands up toward the top of the mat. Step the front foot back. Either go straight up to down dog or add in a flow. Rocking forward, lower down to the belly. Nice arch. And tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Dropping down to the knees, lowering elbows down, right underneath shoulders. Take that same dolphin pose. One hand makes a fist, the other hand heads around the fist. With dolphin pose, we either take the same version, tuck the toes, lift the hips, walk in, or once we get here, we then begin to lift one leg up to the sky and lower it. Second leg up to the sky and lower it. Repeating a few more times. Breathing. How are shoulders doing? Are they relaxed even though they're working? 2 more leg lifts to each side if this is the version that you're taking. And when you drop down, let's take a moment with child's pose. Again, arms forward or arms backward, your personal choice. Alive for us. I love that feeling. Sometimes I don't love it while I'm doing the exercise, but afterwards I'm like, wow, I feel so alive. If you need another breath or two, that's fine. When you're ready for down dog, find yourself lifting all the way up. A few extra breaths in the forward fold. With the inhale, we rise up to stand. If you're doing that slide arch back, remember to zip up the core and hands down to the heart. Tuning into your shoulders, how do they feel now? From that work we just did, have they started to hike up or can they stay relaxed? Good. We're going to take an eagle's pose to help our shoulders stretch extremely nicely. If eagle's pose is not accessible, remember you can just the leg that's crossing over, you can just rest the toes on the ground instead, and that's perfectly fine while you're working up to your balance. So we're going to start sitting the hips back. Knees don't go past the toes. The right thigh comes over. Maybe you're going for kickstand where the toes rest. Maybe the toes float, or maybe the toes can do the complete calf wrap. That's our legs. Now right elbow goes under left elbow. Try to wind the palms around one another. From here, to get into the shoulders, we're going to try to lift the elbows as much as they can go today. Keep the shoulders pressed away from the ears rather than hiking them up. And just breathe if you have the balance. If you need to come out of the legs sooner than us, that's okay. Good, one more inhale. Exhale, unwind just the legs. You're standing. Feel your elbows arch up to the sky. Beautiful. As you return back up, unwind the hands. A huge inhale helps your hands to be pulled farther than the shoulders behind. And drop them down. Shaking the shoulders out for a moment. Good. Okay, second side. Start to sit the hips back. Knees do not go past toes. Left thigh over, maybe kickstand, maybe floating, maybe wrapping. Left elbow under. When you've got your balance set up, start to lift the elbows up as high as they can go. Shoulders pressing down. Can your breath be steady and calm as if you were standing on both feet? Another good inhale. Exhale, keep the arms wrapped, unwind the legs, arch the spine back, elbows lifting up, and return. Inhale, unwind the elbows, arms open, and drop. Beautiful. Sitting back like we're about to go into a chair. Again, sit the hips, make sure knees don't go past toes. Even tuck the tailbone under slightly, that helps the low back to not become aggravated. And from here, let's take some of those cactus arm shapes that we practiced earlier. And so we prepare. With our inhale, the elbows get pulled back, arch the heart forward. And exhale, touch the forearms together, round the spine back. Let's say 5 more. Inhale, and exhale. 4. Feel your quads toning. 3. 2. And 1. Beautiful. Straightening the legs. Begin to release all the way into a nice, comfortable forward fold. Head dropping down entirely. Shake the head left and right. Inhale, slide the hands up the legs, half lift, long spine. Exhale, hands go back down. Just left foot lunges all the way toward the back edge of the mat. The hips sink low without dropping the back knee down. Left hand plants down onto the ground. Right hand lifts up to the sky. And then we take that right hand behind our back. Try to wiggle the fingers closer to that left hip crease, trying to walk it as far as it can go toward that direction. And then open up the shoulders as if somebody's grabbing onto that top shoulder and pulling it backwards. Another slow inhale. And exhale, unwind this top hand, drop the back heel down, and we're going to inhale, rise all the way up into warrior 1. Clasping the hands together, release the pointer fingers up, take that slight arch back. One more inhale, exhale, release the hands, open your body into warrior 2. Now as the legs continue to tone, building their strength from here, take the right hand up, the left hand drops down onto that left leg, and slide that left hand down. Feeling that good stretch all the way from the connection of the hip, up the shoulder, up through the arm. Good. Bring that right hand back up toward the sky. Slide the left hand back up. So right hand is up, left hand is down. And then behind your back, see if you can make a connection. The top hand connects to the bottom hand. If you can't quite make the connection with your fingertips, grab onto your clothing instead. Continue to hold this warrior 2 shape with the legs. Continue to lift that right elbow up and the left elbow down. We're taking 3 more breaths right here. Good. Opening the arms gradually back up like a pinwheel. And then continue to pinwheel all the way down to the ground. Step back, taking child pose down dog or a flow, lowering to the earth. Back bend. And downward facing dog. Gazing forward, slightly bend the knees like a spring. Step, walk, or jump all the way up to the top. Enjoy this forward fold. And while you're still keeping the spine relaxing in this direction, clasp your hands behind your back. Try to straighten the arms and pull the arms as far away as possible behind you. Begin to release all the way back down to the earth. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Exhale, hands drop down. Just right foot lunges all the way back. Right hand stays down. Left hand starts to twist up to the sky. That left hand starts to come all the way around your back, trying to get those fingers wiggled in close to that right hip. And then imagine somebody's grabbing onto that left shoulder, peeling your spine more open behind you. Another good inhale. Exhale, the hand releases down. The back heel rotates down. The arms float up to the sky, warrior one. Keep the thighs lowering as much as you have the strength for. Clasping hands together, release the pointer fingers. And the arms try to pull backwards. Remember not to just let the rib cage just splay open. Rather keep the core zipped as you arch. Another inhale. Exhale, open the arms into warrior two. Left hand goes up by the ear. Right hand drops down onto that right leg. Start to slide it down. And continue to lean over toward the back side of your mat. Very graciously rise back up, leaving that left hand upward. Right hand downward. And see if you're able to make the connection on this side. Fingertips trying to work themselves together. Keep the legs toning, finding a little bit more depth. Keep the head lifted high, keep the elbow lifting up. Two more deep, slow breaths, as slow as you can make it. And then starting to gently release the arms. Pinwheel them all the way down to the ground. Step the front foot back. Child pose, down dog, or a flow. Dropping down to the knees. Last hard thing of the day. This will be one more version of dolphin pose. You're welcome to take the first version, just staying statically. You're welcome to take the second version, lifting one leg up, setting it down, lift the second leg up. Or if you want to take the third version, you do the leg lift with a little bit more momentum, causing both legs to briefly float. And then you switch legs. So either way, whatever version you do, 1, 2, or 3, come down into it. And we'll take several breaths. One last chance to strengthen shoulders before we end with some nice final stretches. Keep the breath flowing. If you want to keep going a little bit longer, another time or two on each leg, that's great. When you're ready to drop down, let the knees go wide in the child pose as the arms stretch forward. And if you haven't come down yet, make your way down to this child pose, wide knees. Leave the left hand forward and start to take the right arm to thread under and through like you're threading a needle. Now this is mostly about the shoulders. So we're trying to keep this left shoulder dropping down, even rock onto the center of your forehead as long as you're not squishing your nose. That should be bringing the right shoulder into a nice deep stretch. Keep on slowing down the breath, being extra conscious of that. Begin to unwind this right arm, sending it all the way forward, and then left arm takes its place, threading under and through. Try to keep the shoulders squared downward, trying to drop that right shoulder more than it wants to, and if possible, stay on your forehead. Unwind this left arm. Both arms are stretching all the way forward. Take a moment to walk your hands as far over to the left as you can possibly reach. And then all the way back through the center. Go as far over to the right as you can reach. Good, coming back through the center. Begin to walk your hands back in, rolling the spine back up to standing. From here, as long as you're still comfortable sitting on your feet, stay, otherwise you can come to a seated place. Rub your hands together, creating some warmth, some nice friction. And then bring both hands onto the neck and the shoulder area, and give yourself a moment with a kind massage, thanking your shoulder for the strengthening that it's done, thanking it for the stretching that it's achieved today, and tuning into your body. Feel if it still feels like there's a world, a globe sitting right on your shoulder. If so, give your shoulders permission and give your energy permission to not have to hold on to that, at least for today. At least for today, I can let go. At least for today, the world doesn't need me. At least for today, I can breathe. And I can meet all that I need to do with a much more greater sense of ease and purpose. So as this neck and shoulder massage is feeling pretty good, pretty complete, let's gradually make our way all the way down onto our backs. Now, earlier we started off with the blanket long ways, the same direction as the mat. For our final Shavasana here, we're going to take our blanket the opposite direction. So so if the mat's long this way, the blanket's long the other way. And as we come to lay down, we're going to place the blanket pretty much, the top of the blanket is in line with the bottom of our armpits. So what this does is it lifts our spine slightly up and arches us back. And that gentle arch gives us an even deeper chance to just roll the shoulders back and just relax that beautiful shape of the shoulders into a nice, relaxed, comfortable, and open position. And so after all the work we just did, after all the growth, after all the energy we've gone through, let's now give ourselves permission to just be in the moment right here, right now, and just breathe. Letting our Shavasana begin right here. Begin to deepen your inhales and your exhales. Introducing little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're first waking up in the morning. And eventually rolling over to a nice fetal position on one side. Enjoying a couple of final deep breaths before we come up to a comfortable seated place. Eventually, as we start to rise, let's join our hands together in front of the heart. And here, let's roll our shoulders forward. Roll them all the way up as high as they can go. And then as they start to go backwards, just drop them down. Taking that 3 more times forward, all the way up. They start to go back and drop them. 2 more. And again. And with that last drop, feel how long the neck is. Feel how far the shoulders are from the ears. Feel how the shoulders can roll back just a little bit more than they might naturally. And as we continue to go in toward the rest of our day, let's try to maintain awareness of the shoulders, trying to keep them as open as they can and as relaxed as they can all throughout the day, knowing that you can add in little neck stretches and little arm stretches throughout the day as needed. And so with this beautiful focus of getting rid of that weight of the world, making sure it's no longer on us, with this focus to help us lead us forward into a beautiful day, let's wrap up this time we shared together with the sound of Om. Inhaling now. Om. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.